Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of the New Jersey World Cup Championship. Congratulations to Spine. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Monday, July 20th, 2026. And this right here, the thing that you are watching, well, it's got a name, and it's called the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to talk about the stuff in the news. You know, voting stuff, Congress stuff, war stuff, mass shooting stuff, World Cup stuff, all the things. So hit the thumbs up button. Share this show with a friend and text it to someone. Share the show, copy the link, and invite somebody into the program. That's how we do here. I'm Brian, the bartender. We're going to talk about all the stories on the screens behind us today at lunch. And if you have comments and questions and jokes and stuff, well, that's what the comment section is for. Become a regular here at the bar. You got it. All right. So without further delay, buckle up, buttercups. The TNAM Daily Show starts now. Ha ha ha.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Appreciate having you. Making sure that we're up and streaming on Rumble as well as Rubio tightens the screws on Cuba. Just kind of scrolling through the news, seeing what people are talking about. How was your weekend? I hope it was great. Yes, today we're getting off a little later than usual. We had a appointment for Mr. Bean. So he has gone to the vet for the first time since he was trapped, neutered, returned 17 years ago. Very skittish guy, but we came up with a plan to give him gabapentin last evening, sedatives this morning with the wet food, then to get him in, then to check his mouth. He lost a tooth and had to check and see how that was going, and then a blood panel, and yeah, $780 later, man. But yeah, that was basically from 9 to noon. So thanks for hanging around here. Let's see who's over in chat. Hello, everybody. Trash Panda Texas checking in on a couple of platforms. Leanne, happy to have you. Mark's out there painting happy little clouds. Very nice. Yeah, pray for the soldiers in Iran, the Iran mess. A new person was pronounced deceased in the military, some lady that was serving Was it in Saudi Arabia? Iran sent a missile attack. We'll get into that. Mark asks, Brian, am I ready to accept Twig is the insider? You mean the shooter, not Tyler Robinson? My jury, how do I phrase this? I haven't reached any conclusions. I didn't like how Candace was jumping to conclusions. I didn't like how Erica was being demonized. And if it turns out that they're involved in some sort of illicit, complicit plot, Erica and this and that, hey, the jury's open. You know, I haven't made up my mind on the case. How could I? We haven't even had a case. We saw preliminary evidence presented to a judge to determine if there's enough there to have an actual case, at which point we'll try the case. I haven't made up my mind. I didn't make up my mind on Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. I didn't make up my mind on Michael Brown. I didn't make up my mind on the Covington kid. I forget how many. Kavanaugh. I didn't make up my mind on George Floyd. I didn't make up my mind on COVID. I didn't make up my mind on the 2020 election. Everything I did was based on the best evidence I had available at the time. And I just put my hypotheses out there. I was pretty slow to have an opinion on George Zimmerman and his self-defense trial. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'm open to anything. And the fact that my understanding is that the Twiggy guy is getting immunity and he's hanging the other guy out to dry, and I don't know about that. And then if it's all based on his word, or are the images, are the resolution, is the resolution from those images in video, is that convincing enough to put him on the roof to take the shot? I mean, I thought I read somewhere that the DNA evidence on the towel was fresher from Twig. Was it? Did Twig get Robinson to do it and take the fall, or did Twig do it and Robinson? I would accept anything in this. I'm not going to accept dreams and Egyptian planes and just smearing a widow. I don't understand the fascination with the Candace investigation. I don't get it. If people are going to say that the prosecutor has not presented a robust enough case for me to believe that Tyler Robinson was the killer of Charlie Kirk, if people can say that, surely people can say Candace Owens certainly hasn't produced enough evidence to conclude beyond a reasonable doubt that Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA and Egyptian planes and bees and dreams did it. Maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, I think if you look back on the videotape of the past 9 months now, 8 or 9 months now, let's see how it shakes out. I don't know. So yeah, I am ready to accept wherever the best evidence takes me. And we haven't seen the best evidence. We've seen some things of some things so far. So we got that. Top of the morning to you, Unholy Hoax. Happy to have you. Trash Panda, Texas, from Scott Pressler. If the Senate passes the Save America Act, I will cut my hair. What did Alice in Chains write on their bass guitar during MTV's Unplugged about Metallica? Friends don't let friends get friends' haircuts. I would support that for Scott. That hair is that is something. I mean, it's a trademark, but it is a lot. Check out our interview. Go on Rumble and YouTube. Go back to July of 2025. And we interviewed Gerald Morgan, CEO of Louder with Crowder. We interview Jim Hoft, founder of Gateway Pundit. We interviewed Scott Pressler and others at the Republican convention. Super Bear, what's up? Why in your stream the American flag is right side up, but your profile it is upside down? Here, let me change that for you. Let me go. Well, now I took your. There we go. We put it upside down again. I had both versions made. We were suffering under like year 3, year 4 of the Biden totalitarian regime. America was in dire straits, hence flying the flag upside down as a symbol of distress. A majority of Americans don't believe that what happened in 2020 was an accurate count of United States citizens who were eligible to vote being tabulated to determine the person who's going to lead this nation for 4 years. Instead, we got a shadow puppet term for Barack Hussein Obama, which you could say was his 3rd term. If you want to count the first term of President Trump, how Obama and his team were running the deep state, booby traps, impeachments, indictments, lawfare, threats, intimidation, harassment. I guess you could call Biden's term Obama's 4th term. We might now be in Obama's 5th term, a year and a half in, as the deep state pushes back against simple things like Save ID, Save America Act, and whatnot. But yeah, if you check out on the graphics here, I have 2 different intros. This was the first one we made. Excuse me, that was the second one that we made. The first one, obviously on that one, you see the flag being raised right side up with cheering. This is the one that we used when we got the new logos created. Because many believe we've been in a cold civil war with the Marxists, the communists, the globalists, maybe since 2001, definitely since 2007. So yeah, when things are looking a little bleak, we're raising the upside down flag. When things are feeling a little better, maybe the normal side flag. But good question. They're sort of interchangeable, although they're definitely not interchangeable, but you get it. Hello, Kenneth, and everybody else in chat. Thank you so much for being here. All right. We need 28 followers so we can go live on Instagram. So please consider becoming a supporter on Instagram. Follow our page. All right. So what are we talking about? Who's this Corinne Clifford? About what she's digging into in Los Angeles. I don't know. Let's see what she has to say.
So everyone wants to know what I've been doing in Los Angeles for the last 45 plus days. I've been investigating Dean Logan, the current LA registrar recorder, and he's the reason that Spencer Pratt lost.
Oh, well, wouldn't that be interesting if verifiable court-proven election fraud could be brought to a legal system that'll actually hear the case? If you recall, there was some sort of a universal, we're not going to hear the case movement against President Trump. Oh, no, they proved over and over again that the election was legitimate. No. What you proved is that the courts kept saying things such as, amongst other things, well, you don't have jurisdiction to bring this lawsuit up, so we can't hear the case. No, you don't win a case if it can never be brought to court because it's being blocked by saying you have no jurisdiction. It's like, well, you're from Tennessee. You can't bring a case against the president. You go, no, everybody from all 50 states has a right to, because we're all in this contractual agreement together. Otherwise, we have no United States. We have 50 individual states. What are we even talking about here? So wouldn't it be interesting if we could start to get these cases in Maricopa County, Fulton County, Los Angeles County in front of some judges?
The 2026 California primary, he's the reason that a lot of candidates that are America First, that are grassroots, lost. And so this is what he looks like. Dean Logan. I'm going to Nathan Hochman. I'm going to Bill Asali. I'm going to... Did I say your name right, Bill? I always say your last name wrong. I'm going to a whole bunch. This is just 25% of the evidence of how the 2026 California primary was...
All right, you're repeating yourself. Give us some facts, lady.
...corrupted in Los Angeles City, Los Angeles County. I have so many people...
Okay, she's just grateful. I don't know. So she's making a claim. I'd like to see some evidence. Not familiar with this lady. Corrine Clifford, official. But fingers crossed, because I don't think what I watched in my previous city where I used to live, Los Angeles, I don't think that was legit. And I'm allowed to think that. TNAM preparedness. If you're near a construction site, just be aware that things can happen. This is from Coquimbo, Chile. Construction crane collapses onto homes and parked cars as strong winds and heavy rain sweep through Chile, leaving one person injured.
Cayó en la casa.
Not supposed to do that. I mean, my good. Oh, what are they saying? That dude in the truck just escaped by inches? I wasn't even looking at the truck this first time. Watch the truck. Which truck? Oh, that guy down there? Oh, the white truck? Hold on, looking. Oh, yeah, look at that. Be careful out there. Speaking about being careful out there. Officer Tatum says, tragic, rising boxing star Hannah Rapp was K'd while riding her bicycle after police say that a driver slammed on his brakes, shifted into reverse, and intentionally accelerated backward into her. The suspect was arrested and charged with manslaughter. Authorities say he has been booked 13 times since 2012. Yeah, the reverse is premeditation. Ducky says booked 13 times since 12. Both him and the judges responsible for him being free should get life sentences. I mean, I'm curious what the other... I mean, is it possible he was reversing to back into a driveway? I don't know. But was it intentional? I don't know. Road rage or accident? I'm sure we'll get some more information on this. Yeah, a lot of comments. Manslaughter. It sounds like premeditated M. Well, prayers to her family. That stinks. What's Joey Manorino checking in with about France? Joey saying that France just told its police to stop making arrests until July 14th. Now, that was a week ago. Let me check on that. Did France tell cops to stop making arrests until July 14th? I don't think there's an original source article on this one, so I'm kind of curious. No, it's not true. It's a viral rumor, misinformation. They're overloaded, backlogs in processing, especially SA cases against minors after a high-profile case. Justice Minister directed prosecutors to prioritize or review 70,000 pending cases by mid-July. No official nationwide order telling police to stop making arrests. All right, here. Condense this into an Instagram comment I can post on the thread. Leave some little breadcrumbs. No, it's false. Has a real justice backlog, prioritizing old cases by July 14, but no order telling cops to stop. Police kept operating normally. Viral rumor from fringe sites. Fact confirming exaggerated and misinformation. Well, per Grok, I'm dropping this comment here. So if you see this, it's not exactly accurate, as best I can understand. That's what we do here. I can't believe you shared that without context. You're anti-Israel. I can't believe you shared that without context. You're so pro-Israel. You're a Zionist. I can't believe you shared that without context. You hate gays. I can't believe you shared that without context. Why are you backing the gays? I receive all of these messages. I don't bore you with a lot of these conversations, but I'm like, I see something interesting. I share it and we debate it and discuss it on the program. We debunk a whole ton of stuff. I can't believe you shared that. Oh, really? Because I can't believe you're getting worked up over it. Goofballs. Anyway, let's keep it going. Oh, by the way, let me put this up on the screen. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you if I just burst out. As I clock in here to my shift, I would like to remind all of you out there that there are some ways to support the new American media instead of doing an ad read for coffee or pillows or solar panels or investing in gold or something. I would humbly ask that you consider signing up to become a monthly patron or a monthly Rumble subscriber or a monthly YouTube subscriber. For as little as $5 a month, you can support TNAM. That's like $60 a year. Set it and forget it every 30, 31 days or something. It processes and it helps. They're all monthly building blocks that we use to run our business over here. And yes, when the household is hit with an $800 bill for your remaining kitty cat, the household gets what the household gets and the business gets what it's, it's all sort of the same pile. It's all sort of the same scenario. So please consider becoming a monthly subscriber on Patreon, Rumble, or YouTube. If you want to drop a one-time Rumble rant or super chat tip, try that on Rumble and YouTube. They're fantastic. They're helpful. They're necessary. They're appreciated. Also, Venmo, Cash App, that's my name, Brian Engelman, and PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. All that stuff is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Because this is my job. This is what I do. But it's kind of weird. Like, imagine going to work and never knowing if you're going to get paid. Oh, there was another YouTube video. Yeah, we definitely got a monetization takedown. So they stole our advertising revenue from our episode that had Rocky's new movie. Was it The Making of Rocky? I don't think we even played the whole thing. We might have played a couple clips, but it was just playing on the side on our Twitter feed. And MGM said, yeah, we own this now. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? Are you going to sell more movies because you shut down our video that had Rocky playing without sound on the Twitter scroller? As we talked about Rocky and how cool it is and we should go see it. As we're pumping your movie for free, MGM wants to shut down that episode because we were pumping up Rocky for free. A lot of influencers are paid spokespeople to promote their products, to sell products. Not only did I not make money selling Rocky to you, they're trying to take the advertising revenue from that and forever make sure that entire video can't make a penny without them stealing it. So now I had to go into YouTube and press the button to delete those 7 minutes. It was like this chunk of a minute and a half here and then 4.5 minutes here, something like that. These are the weird things that I go up against. It's not just that I don't get paid to advertise things. They try to steal money for me because I'm trying to advertise things. Well, fine, MGM. I'll try to make sure I review and promote as few products of yours as humanly possible. Don't stay at the MGM Grand in Vegas. Don't bet with MGM on your phone. Don't do anything with MGM. You want some good publicity? Stop fucking around with independent media that it might happen to play segments of your trailer. on their podcast. So yeah, let's boycott MGM. How about that? You want to play nice? Fine. That's how we'll play nice. I will try to never spend another dime with any MGM product as long as I may live. Because you tried to come after 87 cents of ad revenue and shut down that show. Fuck you. Sorry, it's just this is what I'm dealing with while I'm juggling chainsaws, trying to expose corruption in a government that, you know, they'll either Epstein you, or they'll Michael Hastings you, or they'll Seth Rich you, or they'll Butler, Pennsylvania you, or they'll Charlie Kirk you. So yeah, for the privilege of having to put up with all this extra hassle and headache, I also get to make negative money. So yeah, all that to say, the crowdfunding is super important. Your assistance is crucial. But yeah, just imagine going to work not knowing if you're going to get a paycheck that week. Like it's yeah. So thank you to everybody scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Let's keep going through the news. It's been when you get hit with another $1,000 after another $500 when you had to put Nimbus to sleep to take him out of his suffering and pain. It's just, it's been a long month. It's been a long month, and it's been a lot of expenses at the damn vet. So, yeah, that was the delay in the show, and that's a little background there. Let's keep the stories moving. 13 million pounds? This can't even be right. California Post says, shocking new records reveal the filthy reality of LA's notoriously rundown MacArthur Park. That's where we went. Probably 20, I don't know, 12, 2011, 2013, something like that. Occupy LA. We were at MacArthur Park. Go back and find those videos. Notoriously rundown MacArthur Park, where city crews hauled away nearly 13 million pounds of trash and hazardous waste last year. Are you out of your mind? It's like 13 million pounds. Records obtained by the California Post through a public records request showed sanitation workers dragged out more than 6,300 tons of disgusting debris in 25, including a staggering 142,000 pounds of human waste. Yeah, Karen Bass and Nithya Raman doing a great job. There's no way Los Angeles didn't vote for Spencer Pratt to clean up their disgusting city. Los Angeles voted for Spencer Pratt, and he was robbed. Button. To clean up LA. And he was robbed. I mean, all these pictures, is this from MacArthur? Oh, God, are you serious? You let it go to this? I mean, what are we even doing here? This is maybe one of the biggest reasons why I left Los Angeles. Yes, unholy hoax. Damn those Dems at MGMs. Damn the Dems at MGMs. I mean, it's whatever. It's one of three. I have two other copyright dispute going. One, because I played a clip where JFK was shot, and there was in front of an audience in Boston, and they read it, and the crowd gasped. It was a small segment, played the little clip, and kept talking, and they're trying to claim that they own. I'm like, it is public use. It is fair use for the general public to use clips of things and provide unique, original, transformative commentary upon it. Something educational, something entertaining, something informative, something whatever. If I restream a basketball game here and I'm making ad revenue here, I'm stealing it from the NBA. Like, that's what this copyright stuff is supposed to be for. I shouldn't be running a pirate radio station selling advertisements through YouTube or Rumble, or, by selling coffee or pillows and making money off it, because that should go to the artist. But this other stuff, it's covered under fair use, and I got to battle these nitwits. 3 of them this week. You know? If the dollar from ad revenue from that one program is somehow we go through the process, we edit it out, it reposts it minus that segment, and I can keep that dollar, that's great. I still have $799 more to pay to take care of Ben's treatment and oh yeah, you got subcutaneous fluids, and yeah, we got to do a blood panel, we got to do a urine panel. I'm like, do we really? He's 17 years old. You're going to tell me he's got kidney something because every old cat does. Well, you never know. No, I know. It's just another way to take an extra $400 out of my pocket. But we did it anyway because we love our pets, right? We love them and we don't want them to be in pain or suffering So while I'm battling over $1, you're making 800 over there. I mean, God bless. So yeah, damn the Dems at MGMs. MGM won't let me play the trailer. Are you kidding me? What's up, Diener? How are you? MacArthur Park is melting. I mean, look at this. This is what Los Angeles looked like to me. I was involved in a bunch of cleanup efforts. We had our senior lead officer come in. We were getting overrun by meth heads and junkies and transvestites turning tricks out of tents on the fence line of a school. The dead end road went into a school. They used to have a walkthrough, but they had to shut it because too many criminals were doing criminal shit. And that whole back alley, that whole area, it was all junkies, meth heads, zombies. Piling up trash. They went and cleaned it. Senior lead officer contracted some rare disease that knocked him out for like 5 years. He contracted something really strange. I don't know if he didn't have the right PPE on, if he inhaled something, but you're talking, that's how you get bubonic plague, letting filth sit around. And these blue cities effing hate you. They have no sense of cleanliness. Because they truly don't care. They don't want you living well. They want you to be constantly living down here. And they want to always be your savior because somebody up there is doing better. That's why you're doing so poorly. That is not why you're doing poorly. That is not why you're doing poorly. But that's the game that the Democrats play all across the globe. Give a shout out here. Oh, geez, how do I do this? Look at this. Trash Panda Texas dropping a $25 Rumble rant through Rumble. Appreciate you, brother. Off the top rope with the elbow. Kablamo. He says, double this. Does that mean you're challenging? Like in the Cosby Show, doing the tap dance? Challenge. Challenging the rest of the chat to match that? Or to double that? Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. And Mr. Bean and his new $45 a bag kidney sensitive food appreciates you. Tell you what, though, he was stoned when he came back. I don't think he had typically liked this other food before. I tried giving it to Nimbus. He wouldn't eat it. Man, he devoured this stuff. He was starving because they gave him a shot of steroids, too. And a pain relief. I mean, it was just like, how can we make money? Give you this, give you this, give you this, give you this. Oh, I've been through this rodeo so many times. But at least now we have a blood panel control group. We know some things are not raging out of control. We learned some stuff, and that's important. But I truly felt if I ever got Ben into a carrier and he went to the vet, he would never let me pick him up again. He would never let me put him in a carrier again. So I think the gabapentin for 2 days helped out a lot. But yeah, it's been an eventful morning. It really has. Pet owners out there, I'm sure you could regale me with tales of taking some pets or livestock to the vet. Whew. Man, it's something. But thank you, Trash Panda. Appreciate you. Yeah, MacArthur Park is melting. Mark says it's fertilizer in a green space. No. It is not fertilizer. No. These aren't free-range chickens. But I do take your point. That is kind of funny. Ortho says, I like the song. Wait, what song are we talking about? I don't know what song we're talking about. Oh, MacArthur Park by Richard Harris. There we go. MacArthur's Park. Okay. Gotcha. Dina says, yeah, more money in their pockets when homeless population increases. Yep. There's no cure there's no money in the cure. I think Chris Rock talked about that with cancer and such. Aha. Kenneth off the top ropes with an elbow. $5 super chat. Someone double this. Thank you, Kenneth. Appreciate you. All right, so you have 2 challenges, chat. Someone challenging you to double 25, someone challenging you to double 5. That either means dropping your own 50 or your own 10, or at least matching a 25 and a 5. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you. Mr. Bean's new Hills Science Diet white fish blend and his kidney disease or kidney function chicken stew cans appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. Well, yeah, clean up LA. You cannot convince me that Los Angeles did not vote for Spencer Pratt to come in and clean this shithole up. It's a shithole. And it's a gorgeous place. It doesn't need to be this way. Just like DC. Clean up the fountains, fix the things, do the stuff, get rid of the graffiti, clean up the trash, fix the things, do the stuff. All you got to do is do the stuff. You know, that was one of my favorite parts about living in Los Angeles, being on that HOA. Every building we painted made the next building across the street look like shit. You say, well, that's a weird thing to say. No, it's not. It's the Rudy Giuliani broken window theory. If our building is spray painted with bullshit graffiti, the fascia boards rotted off, the stucco's peeled and popped because the water hasn't been adjusted. And when you turn on the sprinklers, half of them are broken. The other half are getting double the shot, so they're shooting all over the side of the house, damaging the house. Well, when we address all those problems and fix it, plant fresh new flowers and scrape away, repair all the damaged wood, fix the buildings up, paint it, it makes all the other buildings look at themselves and go, oh, man, that's what we should look like. We got to do that. Yeah, no shit. It's like you grab them by the lapels and go, pop, pop. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations. When you live in the hood, and this place was the hood, on the wrong side of the tracks, half Section 8 housing, you do as little as you can to get by. You never raise the dues, and you never repair anything, and everything deteriorates. That's what Commie Mom Donnie's pushing in New York. That's why, oh, we're having a rent freeze. Isn't that great? Yeah, if you did an HOA dues freeze, all the buildings would fall to shit. But every time we fixed one up, it encouraged the neighbor. I can't tell you how many neighbors. Hey, what vendor are you using? Let me have them out. Let them give us a proposal. See if they can come to our homeowner association meeting. Maybe we got building after building after building. Of our non-buildings in our HOA, our neighborhood started leveling up. We put in dog waste stations. So letting your dog crap out. Here's some free plastic bags. Here's a trash can. Twist it up, toss it in there. Hey, your McDonald's bag, instead of chucking it out the window because you don't own the property here, you're just a permanent renter on Section 8. Hey, there's a trash can right here. And there's one there, and there's one there. Then there's one there, and there's one there. Can you toss the trash in the trash? And everybody started raising their standards of living a little bit. Ortho says it's the symptom of America that everything is going to trash. I'm trying to change that with like reselling, finding fantastic items that people are looking for and getting those items to them. Sold a couple things over the weekend. Got to ramp that up, but it's a good way to do it. Now, I'm not talking about digging through trash like MacArthur Park trash. I'm talking about garage sales, estate sales, thrifting, and anything that you're not using that's taking up space, list it for sale, let it go. Anyway, I'm rooting for Los Angeles.
They just had, if you want,
but they need new leadership desperately. 13 million pounds of trash and hazardous waste.
They just had.
That's just.
They just.
fairly impossible. All right, here's Aaron Brockovich talking about how a Meta data center contaminated Cheyenne's water system with a rare bacteria. What? Look, I love AI creating images for me. I love AI helping me research things. I love, and I'm talking about cats this whole damn episode. Well, I picked up some litter robots off Marketplace from a woman that couldn't get them to work. They're very finicky. You really have to learn. And there's a lot of buttons and blinking and sensors and magnets. And I said, but I've had a litter robot, the original one, for like 15 years. I could get these going. And so I acquired them. And anyway, got them up to snuff. And I was able to get these cleaned, fully cleaned. Well, Izzy and I did. And instead of these just getting chucked in the trash, we got them up and going. Like, these are $550 new. And so now they're in the hands of 2 other cat owners who are going to have a really nice experience because I was able to fix that along the way instead of sending it to the dumpster, instead of sending it to the trash. It's nothing new to me to get out the hose and spray some stuff down and wipe some stuff down. I've had cats for, past 15 years at least, and growing up. But yeah, waste not, want not. Actually, the guy that I sold the other litter robot to yesterday, he said, well, I was looking at him and my daughter said she got hers for $1,000. I go, yeah, the litter robot 5s. Yeah, they're $1,000. Or they're 700 or 600 or 500, depending on which model you get. I said, but here's the thing. If you just keep this clean and you got to brush this, you got to wipe this, you got to make sure nothing I go, this is what I've learned so far. But if you take care of it, you're going to be able to sell this for probably what you paid for it. Just keep it in good condition. My dad always told me that with music equipment. Just take good care of it and you'll always be able to sell it for what you paid for it. If you don't buy junk, if you buy junk, it deteriorates. But buy name brand, don't buy a knockoff Mexican Stratocaster. Get an American-made Stratocaster. Get good equipment and you'll always be able to either get what you paid for it or do well selling it. But don't buy junk. Don't ever buy junk. So some people try to buy those cheap litter robot things that aren't litter robot and they have problems with them. But yeah. I love artificial intelligence. I told the guy that got the litter robot yesterday, I said, well, here's what you do. And you go on, you ever use Grok? No. You ever use AI? No. And he barely uses the computer. I'm like, well, look, here's the thing. Let me type this in real quick because I didn't find it in the instruction manual that I gave you. What type of he goes, well, I use corncob litter. I go, well, it says it could work, but it's not ideal because the clay-based litters are a better weight for this machine to operate better. He goes, well, I'm glad you told me. I go, well, download the X app and just ask it questions. It's not always right, but it can point you in the right direction. Watch YouTube, look through the books, because dialing these machines in, there's sensors and you got to clean this and you got to put some end dust on these tabs so that they stay, skid free. Like as the globe spins, it kind of has these 2 little pads. You don't want it to, it can catch on it. So you just want them to be lightly oiled or greased, whatever, just a little squirt of end dust. I said, but for the past 2 months, I've been learning these devices and now I've sold them. But you might have a couple dialing it in questions. Well, why is it doing this? Why is it doing that? Type it in and AI will give you the answer. I love AI for that stuff. But if it comes at the cost of poisoning the good people of Cheyenne and their water system being poisoned with a rare bacteria, you can go to hell with your AI. I don't need it like that. So however we're building these, we can't be loud, we can't be polluting, and we can't be a drain on the water and the power needs of the community. Any of these data centers need to have their own, 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation nuclear power plants. Create excess energy that you give to the city for free. Well, maybe you do get tax breaks, but maybe you provide us with some energy for our community, which means that our energy prices get dropped by half of the national standard. But if you're going to sloppily throw these data centers up and they're going to be loud and they're going to be polluting, you can go to hell with it. I don't want any of that. Anyway, here's Aaron Brockovich.
Just had, if you want to pull up Cheyenne, Wyoming. So there's open cooling and there's closed cooling, and they want to go to more closed cooling systems where the water.
Yeah. Why were we ever approving non-closed systems? It's a loop. Well, every time you ask AI a question, it's like drinking a whole bottle of water. I'm like, that is so stupid. Maybe it's because I've been on so many bourbon tours, distillery tours, and you see how the water, it's a closed loop system and it's a boiler and all it evaporates and the alcohol goes here. Like, you're not really wasting, you're just splitting. You're taking the good stuff that you want over here, you're putting the other stuff. Keep it in a closed loop system. This is not rocket science.
Has to pass. Again, that reminds me a little bit of the Hinckley situation, because you're got a closed loop system. You're going to need chemicals in there to prevent rust and corrosion. Wow. And I believe it just happened in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they were draining that system and there was some construction error, but it contaminated the entire sewer system.
Pull that up.
So is Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Cheyenne's Board of Public Utilities has temporarily stopped accepting wastewater from data centers, fill and flush operations, and closed-loop cooling systems after a Meta-linked construction discharge contaminated the city's reclaimed irrigation water with a rare bacterium.
Okay, one more point. Go check out Strictly Speaking. It might have been from a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, but I think it was maybe a week ago. Oh, there we go. He had a panel of 7 or 8 people on doing like a debate on data centers. And the municipal water supplies across the country, the municipal water services, whoever cleans and filters your water, they were not built to test for FAs, is that what that's called? I was going to say PDAs. That's public display of affection. Microplastic contamination, is that called PFA? BPA. There's BPA. I'm sorry, PFAS. That's what I was looking for. Okay, widespread forever contaminants. Tiny physical plastic particles down to nanometers from broken down plastic waste, clothing fibers, packaging. A group of man-made chemicals, forever chemicals used in non-stick pans, waterproof clothes, food packaging, firefighting foam, etc. Microplastics, nanoplastics, PFAS, among other things. They are not equipped to test and treat for that stuff. So if they're dumping all that stuff, well, we're not finding it. It's just like the election of 2020. If you're not looking for the problem, you're not going to find the problem. And if you're not set up to identify all of the ways that an election could be rigged, it's no shock it wasn't proven in a court of law. It never had its chance to be proven. Of course, these PFAS and other contaminants weren't found or treated or corrected because the plants weren't set up to handle it. They're not looking for it. They can't treat it. So yeah, keep your own water in-house. Treat it in-house. Don't pawn your problems off onto us just because you're trying to hurry up. Now look, the flip side of AI, and I think this gets lost on us a little bit. AI, if left unchecked, will be Chinese-driven deep state garbage. Everything will be slanted. Everything will be trash. And I don't want that. So we damn well better lead the way, or else we're going to be following China and the deep state's lead. I don't want to do that. But I also don't want to do it at the expense of our environment. So figure it out. Dig these things down. don't make it so the sound is just horrific for any of the neighbors, okay? Don't do that. And don't dump your water outside. Keep it in-house. You treat it yourself. Build yourself a water purification plant and a power plant. You'll be like the basis of a new city. Have at it. But give us something for the trouble. You know, pump half of the excess energy in for free and let us, you know, some sort of trade-off. Have your whole roof full of solar panels and collect all your own rainwater and filter it within your underground cisterns and water treatment plant. Just build smart. No, I don't want to live in a surveillance grid, a prison planet. All that talk about flock cameras. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a deep dive on flock soon. Because it's just right in your face right now. So, Patriot Warrior says corn cob. Yikes! No, I don't mean like the corn cob. How like in the olden days. Not to be, yeah, but toilet paper wasn't really a thing. People would take corn cobs and just kind of give it a nice wipe and a toss. Yeah, we've come a long way, baby. We've come a long way in society. But we don't need to go so far that we're dumping PFASs into our water.
That's the same company that's doing it in Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a lot of, because the water is warmer, they have to be heated. You're seeing different chemicals that they're using in the closed system. It could be hexavalent chromium. It could be PFAS. That water could be full of
for
other
sure.
diseases.
Well, now, the water's bad. You know, anything. You know, the kids out there, you never even know. He's sipping bad water. They got chromium in the water.
And you can have accidents like this that you're reading about that just happened in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I mean, this is unbelievable. Meta's Cheyenne facility is designed to use a closed-loop liquid cooling system, meaning the same coolant water is recirculated within the data center rather than continuously discharged. During construction, however, contractors perform fill and flush procedures to clean and pressure test the cooling pipes. And that one-time wastewater was sent to the city's reclamation system where the bacterium was detected. And what's the bacterium? Let me see. It's at the top. What's it called?
Is it Legionnaire?
No, it was Cupriavitis gallardi. So he's a 4-star recruit, I'm guessing, you know. I'm going to say that out there. I'm surprised. Bro, give him an hour. Lane Kiffin will be over there recruiting him. You know that, dude.
They just had, if you want to pull up.
All right. Well, thanks for that report.
They just had, if you.
Aaron Brockovich and Theo Vaughn, of all people. Dina saying reportedly in a few years, data centers will be useless. Yeah, well, they're saying there's going to be self-cooling chips. That's the thing. Every time there's a build out, like you got to kind of think, well, what if they don't need it like that? So these places that they're building, what's a secondary use for them? Can they be converted into condos, into a mall, into a sports complex, into a shopping center, into a Amazon warehouse distribution center, like a new city with its own power and water supply in the middle of the desert? Because, by the way, that's where these things should be going. Far, go into the places nobody wants to be. NIMBY, not in my backyard. Well, put it out in the California desert. Put it out in, the areas where nobody is. So if you're going to build the infrastructure for water collection and water treatment, basically your own water supply and your own power generation service, then I guess you got a little mini city right there. Not mini soda, mini city. Yeah, once the chips don't need to be cooled, you don't need all that space to pump cool water through tubes to keep the... Think smart. Have a redundancy plan. Have a backup and a backup. And have what happens in 5 years if. I just kind of feel like we're running head first a little too fast to go all in on Betamax, not even waiting to realize that everyone's shifting to VHS. And you don't want to shift so far that you go from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray to now everything's in a cloud. And by the way, even when you buy things in a cloud off of Sony, they delete them and say, well, you don't really own anything. We had a temporary license and now we don't have the license. So the thing you bought actually isn't yours anymore. Oh, because I was under the assumption when I buy something, I own it. We don't want to confuse and blur these lines between ownership and rental. We cannot do that. Yeah. Yeah, people don't want to be controlled either through Flock or AI data centers or this and that. Got to start somewhere. Just don't throw in the towel. Exactly. Kenneth, we need to have like an intro, like when Stone Cold, you'd hear the glass break, it'd be like, and then the music would start, and he'd come walking out, playing and wrestling, and I'm here to do the thing. Kenneth off the top rope. He doubled it. He said, okay, I'll double it again. Thank you so much. Man, I've almost raised enough for the first small bag of cat food, kidney disease cat food from Hill's Science Diet. Oh, this will be good. Now I'll get something from YouTube saying, we've demonetized your show about Spain winning the World Cup. And by the way, I think I've told you basically all you need to hear about Spain winning the World Cup. They won. 1-0. Yawn. But it was a really good showing for America. America's like the perfect place to have all these venues, all these cities, all this tourism. Heck yeah. I like that. And then bring the World Cup 4 years from now. I think they already have that. But let's get it again as soon as possible. And then send it to different cities. If you were New Jersey this time, try Indianapolis. If you were Austin last time, do Houston. If you were this, do that. If you tried Cleveland, do Columbus. If you did, America's the perfect place for so much of this. So many 80,000 seat venues across the country. It was so cool. It was so cool. But yeah, I wonder if I'm going to get a YouTube copyright claim. We've demonetized your program, Spain wins World Cup, etc., because you routinely referenced Hill's Science Diet, and you do not have a licensing agreement with Hill's Science Diet, and we're gonna go ahead and hold all of these profits from advertising revenue and escrow. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I wouldn't. Every day it feels like I'm looking over my shoulder. When is the other shoe gonna drop? But yes, thank you. Between yours and yours, I gotta check my receipt because damn it, I feel like it was like $45 for that and it's the little bag too. Oh, heaven help me. Heaven help me. But thank you, folks. You're awesome. Much appreciated. All right. So you doubled that and he gave you the challenge. The challenge remains on the 5. Somebody match a 5. Jump on in with a 5. Yeah, maybe this one. Somebody for the first time today who's never done a 5er. Maybe today's the day. You take 45 seconds on YouTube. You enter your credit card, not your main one. Use that other one. And just click the button and go, oh, I was able to tip today. It's awesome. And then once it's set up, you can do it in the future. So, Trash Panda. YouTube, leave TNAM the hell alone. I know, right? Liberty Tango in the house. Happy to have you. Dina says, I remember warnings about the grid overload, and now it doesn't seem to matter. Oh, no, it always matters. Mom Donnie was just saying, we can't do this. Set your air conditioning to 78. I go, air conditioning to 78? That's like the heater being on. I think 70 with heat feels different than 70 with AC. But yeah, there's still power problems. Remember, it was that rolling blackout in 2005. Do you remember that one that shut down the whole Northeast? Great Lakes Brewing Company in Cleveland made a blackout stout because like everything blacked out and people hung out on the porches and drinking beer and stuff. I was in Cancun when that happened. I was touring Chichen Itza, getting sick. Oh man, I got some sort of parasite. That was rough, I'll tell you. California routinely has to ask residents to stop using air conditioning. And yeah, that's the other thing. Like the world discovered we have air conditioning and Europe is like, they don't use it and they're trying to guilt you into, don't you feel bad about the environment? Comedian Aaron Wexler said that there's more people that die in Europe. What was it? More people died in Europe from heat that Americans died from guns. And I'm like, I don't think that's accurate, but like, maybe it is. Yeah, we need to raise our standard of living, lower the cost for energy, lower any sort of pollution, and keep pushing forward, not backward. And if we can get off the grid and have our own solar panels that give us the power and our own water treatment that give us like that is so cool. That's fantastic. Awesome. If we can pull that off. Otherwise, we got to keep getting better, not putting restraints on and sliding back. But yeah, there are still plenty of grid overload problems because it was a cascading thing. It went from Cleveland through Buffalo, went through New York, it went onto the eastern seaboard. The whole region went brrr, like clicking dominoes. They all snapped the whole thing off. Jamie, look this up. Quick overview of 2005 cascading power outages. Let's see if Jamie can find something for me real quick. It started in Cleveland? No, not Los Angeles. No. Hold on. In Cleveland, New York. Jeez. York, East Coast. Northeast Black. Was it 03 then? Maybe I was off on the year. Massive. It was cascading power outage hitting northeastern and midwestern U.S., Ontario, Canada. One of the largest blackouts in history. It started in northeast Ohio near Cleveland with an overloaded transmission line sagging into trees due to high heat and demand. First Energy's alarm system failed, so operators didn't catch the problem. Lines tripped offline, power was rerouted, more lines were overloaded and failed in a cascading chain reaction. Within minutes, it spread across 8 U.S. states and Ontario. New York City, Manhattan, subways were stopped, traffic chaos, Cleveland, Northern Ohio, Detroit, Toronto, Ottawa, much of the Northeast and Midwest. 50 million people without power for hours to days. It lasts up to 4 days in some spots, $6 to $10 billion in economic losses. Overgrown trees contacting lines. Faulty software alarms, poor communication between utilities, inadequate reliability standards at the time. It led to major grid reforms across North America. There wasn't a similar large cascading black. Okay, it was 03. So yeah, that's happening. Was this nursing homes in northern Michigan were not required to have AC? Patients suffered and the staff, but they got popsicles. Ooh, energy from the ground. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of look into copper gardening, the things that you can do by putting copper into the ground in your garden. And I sort of forgot about gardening for a little while and came back and, ooh, my tomatoes are looking good. But I have real sad news to report on the peach front. All 4 peaches have disappeared. It might be the kids from the local school that are running around through the area that grabbed them. It might have been the deer that ate them. I was just days away from grabbing them and letting them ripen on the counter. They were awesome last year. Now they're gone this year. Anyway, how's your garden doing? Tell me about how your garden is doing. And somebody top John with how your garden is doing. He's got an apiary and all sorts of things going on down there. Great pictures. And everybody, please go on X, tag at American_media_ your garden pictures, and I'll share them for TNAM Grow Something. Yeah, my tomatoes are. I got to transplant some wildflowers. I got to transplant some watermelon. I got to transplant some peppers. I mean, it's late in the season, but I'll see what I can do. Ahmed Y says Tobias Forsyth was just 21 years old when a semi-truck driven by Bekhazad Asrarav slammed the back of Toby's car in I-71 in Madison County, Ohio, K-ing him. At the crash scene, the truck driver ripped out his dash cam and hid it in his pocket. He failed his English language proficiency test, and state troopers had to use Google Translate to talk to him. Tobias had his life snuffed out by Bekhazad. non-English speaking, possibly illegal alien, took this young soccer player from us, an Ohioan, by the way. I'm a big Ohio sports fan, mind you. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. If anyone wants merch, let me know. Trash Panda, I had a cottontail rabbit climb my smaller peach trees eating the peaches. Really? Ortho has a key lime harvest. Great this year. So far, get 300 lines and just getting started. Really? What do you do with all the key limes? Do they all go to pie? What do you do with all those key limes? Yes, not so peachy. What happened? This guy's jersey is peachy. Your logo for the M is peachy. I mean, prayers for this family and for the love of God, deport the people who have no business inside of America. You're going to be driving. You got to understand what's going on. You got to be able to handle yourself out on the road. Oh, that is frustrating to read. Okay, hero alert. Washington firefighters caught in a sudden explosion while investigating a structure fire. It's a reminder of how quickly a routine call can turn dangerous for the crews walking into it. This is firefighters from Tacoma, Washington. I'll follow this account. Officials said there was no active fire, but residents from 60 units across 8 buildings were evacuated while investigators and utility crews worked to determine what caused this explosion. Watch this. Pop that door open. You've seen Backdraft. They say, for those curious, this is not a backdraft. This is an actual explosion of something inside, regardless. Firefighter. That's an internal explosion, not a backdraft, not even close. Okay, so that was my original thought. That's what all the commenters are talking about is backdraft. They're saying it wasn't that. But prayers to these people. I don't have an update how they're doing. You freeze the key lime? Like the whole lime, or do you squeeze them first? What do you mean you freeze them? Liberty Tango hopes he's prepared enough for a very lengthy power grid failure. Frozen foods would have to be cooked and canned using open flame source. Yep. I ain't skirt. I ain't skirt. A locksmith's favorite. Key lime. Dina says Ortho likes limeade drinks and assorted drinks with lime. Okay. Never leave your cave without your lime, he says. Backdraft is after Taco Bell, says Trash Panda. Nice. Patriot Warrior says harvesting our tomatoes now about 45 to 50 a day. Yeah, man. Yeah, I got to put a little bit of energy into the garden. Amy Reichert tells us, since no social media platform was held accountable for censorship of Americans during COVID, they know they can get away with it again. Libs of TikTok reporting, TikTok is not allowing content exposing the 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote and how China interfered in our elections. I'm not certain if that's accurate, but that was one of the biggest concerns about TikTok. You don't want China taking over a social media platform because you can hit the heat button and make irrelevant, not important stories trending. You can basically run the whole news cycle And we know that Zuckerberg was doing that to rage bait people. And seeing if you gave certain demographics, certain feeds that would anger them, if they could control behavior and get people out in the streets. It's really mass manipulation stuff. TikTok used to be owned by China, and then a Jewish company came and bought it, or an American. Hang on, TikTok used to be owned by China, but now the Jews own it? Question mark. It was supposed to be an American business, but then I thought a Jewish ownership group came in, and they call it a trope. Hold on, just tell me. It's owned by ByteDance, B-Y-T-E Dance, Chinese company founded in Beijing 2012. January 26, due to U.S. national security laws, divest or ban legislation, ByteDance restructured the U.S. TikTok business into a new entity called TikTok USDS joint venture. Okay, hold on. Is Larry Ellison Jewish? I mean, like they said, that's a conspiracy theory, but then they put Ellison. His mother's Jewish, adopted by his Jewish aunt and uncle. Raised in a Reformed Jewish household. He is widely recognized as one of the wealthiest Jewish Americans and has donated significantly to Jewish and pro-Israel causes. Okay. I'm trying to train Grok here. Let's switch this. Okay. So when I asked if TikTok was bought, hang on, owned by Jews. %. Okay, I guess it's not just Oracle. That's the first one there. Silver Lake, MGX, Dell, and ByteDance retains a minority stake of 19.9%. Okay. TikTok was... Okay. Why did you reply this if Larry Ellison owns TikTok now? Shouldn't you have said yes? I know he's just one of many. Larry Ellison and American investors now control TikTok. Is Oracle the #1 largest shareholder? And is Oracle run by Larry Ellison? And is he Jewish? That was the big debate. Palestine, Jewish, Palestine, Jewish, Palestine, Jewish. Oracle is one of the largest investors in the U.S. TikTok venture with 15% stake. Okay, so yes, 15%. I guess ByteDance does have 20%. Is Oracle run by Larry Ellison? Yes. Is Larry Ellison Jewish? Yes. So look, this is... And look, I'm just trying to go down the rabbit hole. That's what I thought I knew, but it's weird what AI will tell you and what they lie about, what they hide, what they obfuscate, what they dance around and tiptoe around, or they'll call you a conspiracy theorist. I'm like, I didn't make Larry Ellison Jewish. I didn't make Larry Ellison purchase TikTok. But the internet chatter is that it used to be anti-Jewish, and then the Jews bought it, and now it's pro-Jewish. By the way, Yankees versus the Red Sox. I don't give a shit. I'm not on the Yankees or Red Sox. I don't root for either. Like, I don't root against your team. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan. Cleveland Guardians. I want my team name back, by the way. I'm asking the question out of curiosity, not out of hatred. All I hate is inaccuracy. Yes, I know it's not fair to say the Jews run it, but The Jewish man, Larry Ellison, bought 15%, which is the largest domestic, tied with the other groups right there, 15, 15, 15. All because you asked me, Ortho, is TikTok owned by China? It used to be. And they still have their own, but now the U.S. stuff, we have allegedly our own controls on it. Is American military intelligence being joined with Israel? I mean, it has been for decades. This was sort of like codifying what was already happening. It's not like we were ceding sovereignty. A little bit was overblown. A little bit was kind of unnecessary and creepy, like we don't need to do this. And I believe that's all still hung up. I think because now it's tied to the Save America Act, and Save America is being blocked by the cheaters who know that they don't have the support and the consent of the governed. So if they let this come through, they'd never get reelected. So they're fighting like hell to make sure that doesn't happen. Jewish? I wish. Yeah, I told you the story. I worked at the world's largest talent agency in Hollywood or Beverly Hills, California. And I guess you could say I was I've always sort of been out on the hating Jews topic. I've never really cared. I've never really dug into it that much. I've never really, I don't know. I hear what I hear, and I go, all right, what's that do to me? What's that do for me? What's that do again? I don't know. But I remember working there, and they said, Engelman. I was someone of Engelman. Is that Jewish? I said, not yet. It was a good reply. Yeah, remember Marlon Brando back on the Norm Macdonald Weekend Update days? Marlon Brando was lambasted. Oh, what was the Marlon Brando joke about that? Hang on, I got this. Weekend Update, Norm, Marlon Brando joke. But yeah, to say TikTok is owned by the Jews is incorrect. To say Hollywood is owned by the Jews is incorrect. But also, it's very, very correct in some regards to some levels. Last week on Larry King Live, Marlon Brando made the shocking statement that Hollywood is, quote, run by Jews, end quote. In response, outraged Jewish organizations made it snow in New York in April. Well, earlier this week, actor Marlon Brando met with Jewish leaders to apologize for comments he made on Larry King Live. Among them, that, quote, Hollywood is run by Jews, end quote. The Jewish leaders accepted the actor's apology and announced that Brando is now free to work again. That's a classic one. All right. Can we get back to the news? Man, you really took me down a rabbit hole there, Ortho, asking if TikTok was owned by China. Alberta Arnold, how are we doing? How are the fires up there in Canada? Anything dying down yet? All right, there's a hero in Houston as cops stop a mass shooting that leaves 9 people critically wounded. Gunman opens fire on a downtown crowd, leading 9 people critically wounded in a mass shooting early Sunday. Weird they're not naming the shooter. So you got to ask the regular questions. Is this somebody on selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the SSRIs? Is this somebody that's an Islamic supremacist? Is this somebody that's an illegal alien in the country? You have to ask... is this person suffering from gender dysphoria? There's a batch of questions. You go, well, I can't believe you'd put all those questions together and not say a straight white Christian male, because all those shooters are straight white Christian males. Yeah, you can ask that question. Sure, ask that question. I don't take offense to being lumped in with all those white mass shooters. I'm not a white mass shooter. What would I defend a mass shooter for? He ain't on my team. Can't believe you'd be pro-Israel. I can't believe you'd be anti-Israel. They're the Boston Red Sox. That's not my team. Talk to someone that you're barking up the wrong tree there, feller. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, stop whitewashing America and restore Native American names to sport teams like the Cleveland Indians, Washington Redskins, shall we? Kenneth asks, Jewish to file a complaint? No, I don't think you'd use the same sentence. I don't think you'd have somebody Jewish and complaint in the same sentence. Yeah, I come from a long line of complainers myself. Yeah, my dad is one of the most if there were a complaining Olympics, I think this dude would have been on a Wheaties box or two. But I think it's like from a complaint that you find a solution. So complaints are not always bad, and I've definitely brought a lot of that energy to me. But I'm always looking at things like, well, that doesn't work. That's broken. Why hasn't that been fixed? Why is that there? Why isn't that there? I'm always ask not. I think it was Bobby Kennedy that talked about doggone it. I've had to pull this. I've never been able to memorize this quote. I wish I could. And I can. I'm capable of memorizing things. But this one's always been a good one. No, not RFK Jr. Okay. No quote? No, it's not it. Wow, Jamie, you're failing me today. Why not quote? Can I please on a third or fourth or fifth try, Grok? I'm totally stumping it. Wow, this is bugging me. I need to reset this because it's looking for the wrong thing. AI gets caught in a loop thinking you're talking about previous questions. Most famous Bobby Kennedy quote about some people see things that aren't and ask why, and I see things that are and ask why not. I'm blurring these things together. Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and ask why not. Did that really need 9 prompts, Grok? You went through 9 bottles of water for that. But that's what complaining gets you. I had such a vivid memory in Stuttering John's house in Calabasas bartending a birthday party. And I got to he was the announcer on the Tonight Show. And I got to hang out. You want to grab a Corona, hang out in the garage? I go, yes, I do. Hanging out with these old Jewish comedy writers from the Tonight Show writing room. 60, 70, 80-year-old men in the full get up and beards and beanies and stuff. That was awesome. But yeah, it's a classic trope that rabbis are whiners, or that Jews are very whiny and It's what makes a lot of great comedy, because you see things, what's the deal with the peanuts? You know, very Seinfeldian, what's going on? Why can't we do that? And like everything's a complaint and everything's a big deal. It's very Larry David. It's like, what the heck? Why we gotta, I can't believe, everything's an outrage and everything's why is this and why isn't that? But that's how you also are constantly looking for things that could be better, should be worse. You got to fix things you didn't fix right. I don't know. Having complaints is actually one of the best things we can have, I think. I've grown up with it. I try to focus on positivity. But look at this. Look at it. Do you wish to file a complaint? Kenneth, you took me off on that side road now because I talked about the word complaint. So there's that. Hang on. What about my Cleveland frowns or the Cleveland Clowns? Although we're going to win the Super Bowl this year, so. Arnold says there's hope up there in Canada. Fires are still raging mad in British Columbia, heading toward a record year if the interior doesn't get a massive soaking within the next week. Town of Kimberley has been issued an evacuation notice. Damn. Ugh. Praying for you guys. For rain, for friends in Dayton, Ohio suffering from smoke inhalation. Oh, yeah. I'm originally from outside of Cleveland. Plans have been canceled this week and last week because of smoke. You can't even be outside huffing this stuff in. It's real bad. Being caught in a loop is not being as bad as caught in a zipper. That's true. Something about Mary told us that. All right. Let's bounce off of our Instagram page and go over to our X account. I got a notification that was the weirdest. What am I supposed to do with this? Indian government, Mr. Narendra Modi baton charge student protest failure. Did someone tag me in this? Why did I get tagged? Okay. You want to see the weirdest video of the day? I don't really know why this is on my feed, but since I saw it, you need to see it. Okay. No context, but I got sent that. Thanks for sending me that. It's been a day, folks. It's been a day. My bearings are all about me. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. It's been a humdinger, you guys. It's been a humdinger. Alberta Arnold says Alberta has broken the tornado record. Edmonton flooded twice now. Saskatchewan, Manitoba farmers are losing their investments. Roads, towns flooding. That's sort of what you do to destroy something, then buy it up really cheap. Friend in Colorado says Liberty Tango lost everything from the fire, so have many others. Yeah, make sure you're up to date on your insurance and get your bug out bag ready. And go to Betty Much. Come again. Now, ortho. Yeah, get your bag together. Get your bug out bag. Something with all your important documents laminated, and just have it by the door, and some cash money and some pet medicines or your medicines, and have an extra this or that. Like, just get your bug up. And folks, I'm going to have the bug out bag business up and rocking real soon this week. Multi-tools, survival books, potassium iodide tablets in case, heaven forbid, there's some sort of nuclear fallout. You need to protect your thyroid. And it's just a basic bug out bag to get you going. Here's some starter parts. Now go. You'll get it mailed to you, and you have to build out the rest with the important things specific to you. Nobody's going to be able to customize a bug out bag plan but you. But I can get you started with build your own bug out bags. So stay tuned. I'm going to have that. But yeah, everybody, raise your hand if you need a bug out bag, or raise your hand if you need a bug out bag. And conversely, tell me if you're good, you got your stuff in order. I mean, we got a lot of preppers in here, forward thinkers, but still, everybody can level up on that. Speaking of leveling up, right here at the top of our Facebook page is the link to jump over onto our Patreon account. So please consider becoming a monthly sponsor on Patreon, Rumble, or YouTube. Put in a subscription as little as $5 a month. Super easy to do. If you want to do a one-time Rumble rant tip or super chat tip, go on Rumble and YouTube and enter your side credit card info. Use it like your Home Depot credit card or something you rarely use. You set it and forget it. And then once your card is connected, then you can just toss some super chat tips or some Rumble rants because it's already connected through there. Maybe you keep your main credit card over here and just, this is the one that you got at the Foot Locker. You got 10% off at Home Depot if you sign up for a credit card, or Lowe's. Okay, well, use your Lowe's card. It's got a $2,000 maximum. You're protected on fraudulent purchases. Don't overthink it. But anyway, if you want to do that, those are the ways to help out there. If you want to shoot something over on Venmo or Cash App, please consider doing it that way. It's under my name, Brian Engelman, and PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Thank you to the person that sent a nice Venmo over a couple days ago. I'm telling you, if they all get stacked, and the amount they need to stack to is here, and what we're getting is here, but like it is increasing. There's a nice trajectory here. So thank you to everybody. Ortho needs a new bug out. All right. No, bug out bag, not a bag of weed. No, we're talking about a different bag, a bug out bag. But I could see how that might be important to grab on the way out the door for you, Kenneth. Got to pass the time somehow. Arnold saying the insurance companies will be broke soon and change the fine print in order to reject claims. Yeah. That's hearing stuff like that is amongst the worst thing that humanity could deal with. Like after all of the collecting for nothing, when you're actually held to account and got to pony up, like, no, it's so far beyond that's not cool. And I think that's why the Luigi Mangione case has gotten so much attention. One, because some ladies and a bunch of gay dudes think Luigi Mangione is dreamy. I have no opinion because I'm neither of those two things. But the concept of an insurance company robbing sick people when they need help the most, it's almost like, do you need help taking out the trash? Let me grab a bag. That's a human being. He worked at the behest of a board of directors. And it's like, that's not an emperor. You don't just get to run around vigilanteing whatever you deem to be not good enough for you. There's a whole system for that stuff. But yeah, insurance companies screwing people over, I have no love for that. We need to be as robust as possible in making sure that people are held, that their feet are held to the fire. President Trump, along with Spencer Pratt, has been calling out these insurance companies in Los Angeles County saying, you better pay up everything that you owe. I'm hearing reports that you're not going to rebuild. You're stalling this process. Get it done. Pass the stuff. Send him the check. What are you doing? Go get it. Like, I appreciate that he's trying. I'd like to see more progress because as Adam Carolla documents on his blog all the time from up there in Malibu, almost nobody's rebuilding. Nobody can get the permits. Nobody can afford these ridiculous over the top. Oh, you have to drive these pylons 8 stories down into the ground. He's like, these houses were 80 years old. They were built on telephone poles. They drove a couple of telephone poles into the ground in the sand, and they were fine. Nothing wrong with it. They were totally fine. You don't need to over-engineer. I get that now if the slate is wiped clean, why not try to do it that way? But it's a mess. It's a mess over there right now. Brian, call it a fat sack bug out bag. Build your own bug out bag. BYOBOB. Is that easy to remember? BYOBOB. I think it's super fun. Call it a fat sack bug out bag. Liberty Tango, potassium iodide in stock, buku antibiotics and stuff. Enough 22s to distribute to a battalion of infantrymen. Needing more water purification, straws, water, and ammo are number one and number one. Yeah, the straws are okay, but I think the flip upside down and hang them bags are better. Or can all of the straws be converted into the bags? I don't know. I think I need to pop a few of mine out and kind of see what we got, actually. But yeah, water purification is right at the top for sure. All right, Gunther Eagleman put this out there. Even the Colombians don't allow this. My buddy IC, we'll call him IC, sent me this. It's a pretty good compilation. President Trump sent this out from Sammy Nathaniel.
A total disgrace. But so let me get back. Should we get back to post office stuff now?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good.
The U.S. Postal Service is now part of this bigger story of this president desperate to federalize our elections. He has tried every which way to say that if he and his party don't win in these November elections, they were rigged. He said it in the State of the Union. You are being used as part of a much bigger story that this president is trying to play out, where he does not believe elections that he loses are valid elections. He's willing to do just about anything to show that he's actually a big winner, no matter what he does. And I just ask you, as a professional, as someone who's done serious things in your life, please push back on being a pawn in this authoritarian playbook. The Postal Service is one of the most important institutions in our country. Don't taint it with the obsession of this one man. Please push back.
You know, one of the things about politics that's different than business is that there's a lot of people who love to talk here. When I came in, it was interesting. I had my team put together this very fancy binder. It was about post office reform. But the hearing has turned into a mail-in balloting conversation and principles of the Constitution, which is very, very heartwarming to somebody who swore an oath to the Constitution when I became a U.S. citizen when I was 18. So are you familiar by any chance? I don't expect you to, but just in case. There was a bill that the Democrats brought up during the Biden administration. And as you know, bills are numbered. So bill number 1 is the first one they do. And then I think we're now in bill number 5,000. But it's called H.R. 1. And then it was also S1. So meaning it was the number 1 priority of Democrats in the House and Democrats in the Senate. Do you remember what that bill is about?
I don't.
You wouldn't. No, I wouldn't expect you to. I was like you, a business guy that paid attention to all this stuff. It was called the For the People Act. The Democrats are phenomenal at false advertising. So what the For the People did is it basically nationalized our elections. So this bill that they had that was their number 1 priority was about nationalizing the elections. So I know that we live in a world where there's supreme hypocrisy, but the idea that Democrat witness after Democrat witness, instead of talking about how to fix the post office, we're talking about the scandalous idea that somehow states' rights were being violated. And yet, 3 years ago, they wanted to take over the entire election system for the United States of America, not to give it more voter integrity, but to diminish voter integrity. Universal mail-out ballots, unsolicited ballots that would go out, automatic voter registration, regardless of whether there's a test to see if that person is a citizen. And then, Mr. Chairman, you were here, you'll remember, they couldn't get it passed because, of course, here you have to get 60 votes, right? We have to get 60 votes. So what did the Democrats advocate for? What did they fight for to get this passed? They want to get rid of the filibuster. They want to get rid of the filibuster so that they could pass nationalized elections. 3 years later, all of them are testifying to say, it's outrageous. President Trump's trying to nationalize our election. He's not. He's trying to get rid of voter fraud. How dare you guys talk about getting rid of the filibuster? If it wasn't for Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, that would have happened. They would have made D.C. and Puerto Rico a state. They would have packed our Supreme Court. But now, all of a sudden, they dug up from their bottom desk drawer the United States Constitution, and they're appalled as they're here talking to you. It's a total disgrace. But so let me get back. Should we get back to post office stuff now?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's talk about the post office. If the post office inspector were to look at unsolicited mail-out ballots, where you go to an apartment complex and one unit is receiving 6 ballots, that's a problem, right? Meaning, if there's only one human being that lives in that apartment and that one human being is receiving 6 ballots, none of which are in their name because they've been turned over to movement, you wouldn't just suggest, and my Democrat colleagues have left, Elvis has left the building here, but you would not suggest that one person receive ballots that they didn't ask for that aren't even in their name. You would view that and go, wow, this is a problem, correct?
That's what our Postal Inspection Service is there for, is to look for those type of situations. And, we don't open mail. We don't stop the delivery of mail. But we can certainly go to other agencies from a law enforcement point of view.
And say, hey, this is a problem. We're seeing this as potentially illegal activity.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand. I just want to give a quick anecdote. I was asked by the government to go down to where I was born, Colombia, South America, and monitor the election down there.
Colombia.
They don't allow mail-in balloting. And I asked the registrar, I said, well, why don't you allow people to vote by mail? There's some people who can't get to the polling locations, et cetera. And obviously we're in Colombia, so we're speaking Spanish. He turned to his aide and said, I don't think the senator is saying the right words. I'm not understanding his question. So I repeated it, and he looked at me quizzically, and he said, well, if you just mailed somebody a ballot without knowing who they were or who's receiving it, that would open the door to massive fraud. You'd have to be totally and completely insane to run an election that way.
Yep.
This is a country with the GDP of the size of LA, lecturing the United States of America on why our elections should be run better. And I think we should look at that as a moment of opportunity.
Yeah. It's obvious to everybody. The only people that want this system that wide open are people that are trying to take advantage of the system. So don't do that. Don't allow that. Don't tolerate that. Change our voting system. Washington Post. With razor-thin majorities in both chambers, Republican leaders need the support of virtually every member for their budget measures to succeed. 4 competing priorities Republicans are trying to navigate before a restless electorate. Okay.
Our voter rolls.
Slotkin. Yeah, CIA Slotkin. Or is that Spanberger? No, Slotkin's part of the Gang of Six. The Seditious Six. Yeah, they really want to be able to cheat.
He has sued for our voter rolls in Michigan, along with 29 other states. He's tried to change the rules of the post office so that the post office has to approve any ballot that is mailed through the Postal Service. He's tried to pass a piece of legislation, the SAVE Act, that would make it much harder for many people to vote. He has sued for our voter rolls in Michigan.
No, it's not much harder for people to vote. RNC Research says, is Slotkin talking about the over 270,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote that she's protecting? And by the way, that 270,000 number is so much smaller than it actually is. I would place a wager that it is higher than that. North of 1 million. Because these are only the states that volunteered to participate. The worst states are hiding all their stuff. I bet you it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times worse when you get to New York, California, Illinois, the fraud states. Yeah. Much harder for many people to vote. Not legitimate people. I've had 3 passports or 2 passports and a real ID. You take an hour and you go take care of it. Get it done. Cross it off the list and move on. So apparently adults are finding out that they have to pay back money that they borrowed. Oh! Oh, no! Down he goes. CBS is reporting defaults on student loans surge across the United States, reaching record levels as borrowers struggle to keep up with payments. Texas Boomer. In other news, it's important to take responsibility for one's financial obligations and to set priorities for your spending habits. Oil field rando. The Trump administration took the unusual step of actually making people pay back their student loans. Yeah, I did. Matt Van Swole says, I recently learned that the government will pay off your medical school debt if you go and work at a nonprofit that provides free health care to illegal aliens. In fact, someone I know very well is planning on doing exactly that. The rot is so deep, it's all a scam. Of course, check out our Friday show about 278,000 illegals on the voter rolls, deep state cover-up, China 220 million hackable machines, and the Michigan fraud raid. Nick Sorter reporting, the Trump Department of Justice rapidly deport illegals to terrorists such as Hyundai Aragua and their family members. Much of the proceedings are done in class-unified settings, and the illegal cannot play the asylum card during these proceedings. The court was established by Congress in 1996 and just received its first ever filing just days ago. It's currently under seal. Ramp this up, General Blank. Hey, here we go. Senator Mark Warner gets called out by ABC for lying about Virginia. Rare that they'll call out a dirty Dem, but here you go. Check this out.
No idea to register to vote. Is this something that Democrats should get behind?
We have very
80-some% of Americans, 71% of Democrats say they favor this.
You know what? In Virginia, we have voter ID and photo ID. I got to show my...
That's actually not the case. I mean, I'm a Virginia voter. You don't need to show a photo ID in Virginia. There are a wide range of things you can show for ID. And if you don't show one of those, you can sign an affidavit saying...
You can sign an affidavit.
But so it's not required.
And those become ballots that if you want to contest later can be contested. But you are...
My God!
A variety of...
What? Those are counted as votes, but if you want to contest them later, you can contest them later. No, they should never get past the starting line. You don't get out of the starting blocks. Your gate doesn't open up. You can't start the Churchill Downs race. Well, no, the horse is already out of the barn and the race is over. But if you want to dispute whether that horse should have been in there, go ahead, because no court of law is going to give anybody standing. And so nobody can actually prove anything. This is their system. Well, how did Trump win? If the system's rigged, how did Trump win? Because the landslides have been too big to rig. This stuff, this rot is everywhere. My God, this whole thing is cinema. Not Kirsten cinema. This guy lies out of the gate, and then he just, yep, I was lying. I got to watch this again. This video is shocking.
No idea to register to vote. Is this something that Democrats should get behind?
We have
80-some% of Americans, 71% of Democrats say they favor this.
You know what? In Virginia, we have voter ID and photo ID. I got to show my...
That's actually not the case. I mean, I'm a Virginia voter. You don't need to show a photo ID in Virginia. There are a wide range of things you can show for ID. And if you don't show one of those, you can sign an affidavit saying...
You can sign an affidavit.
But so it's not required.
Those become ballots that if you want to contest later can be contested.
Unreal.
But you do have a variety of documents. But we have voter ID of one form or another.
One form or another, I just sign a document? That's not an ID. That should never count. Look at this goon.
Should that be a national standard? That you have to show an ID?
The irony here would be the case. If you can show any photo that is government stamped, would be fine. Certain states will say, we're going to let you show your NRA gun license, but you can't show your student ID. If you're going to have...
Dude, listen. Please do the standing filibuster. Do whatever it takes to make Democrats sound this stupid trying to defend voter fraud. And yes, it's voter fraud to have this level of just general sloppiness. Allowing this type of sloppiness is fraud. My God, this Mark Warner, this should be the commercial that runs across the nation. This should be the commercial that runs across the nation. In support of the Save America Act. This should be it. This should be it. I just can't believe I even watched it. All right. Wall Street Ape saying New Jersey inmates mugshots. Go there, filter by white, and your mind will be blown. Almost all mugshots are of minorities being booked as wife. Proof in the video. It's insane. You should be furious. I go through the inmates just on the first page, and the people doing this need to go to prison. Just imagine the statistics that are being skewed nationwide. Because, Biden, with Obama's hand up his ass as a puppet, was constantly bashing whites. It was a very anti-white administration from, well, why would Joe Biden be against whites? He's white. He was a marionette puppet. He was an animatronic robot. He wasn't saying things. He was regurgitating as programmed. That's a story we're going to keep covering. Because under Biden, that 80-year-old buffoon wasn't running the country. It was 25-year-old staffers. Here's a Navy SEAL who supports Pete Hegseth dropping statements about Biden's woke military.
It's the weak strategic leadership projected by the 25-year-old staffers that have been running the White House for 4 years. I stand corrected. Lloyd Austin, travesty. Former chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, forget about it. Should be recalled on to active duty and court-martialed for what they did in Afghanistan. Pete Hegseth. It's weak.
Court-martial after that. Boston police investigating the D of a person whose body was discovered at a rental property owned by the husband of Democrat Representative Ayanna Pressley. Very strange story. And it's a very strange lady, for that matter. Steve Ferguson says another week has gone by and Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland dad, is still squatting in our country. Well, isn't that special? Still squatting, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Just can't get rid of this feller. He just lives here now. This illegal alien invader, MS-13 gangbanger, human trafficker, and wife beater, according to Steve Ferguson, should be in CCOP prison in El Salvador, where hardened criminals belong. However, Attorney General Pam Bondi saw fit to bring him back to the U.S. What a cascading cluster F. Mike Bales says, let me get this straight. There's SNAP fraud, EBT fraud, Medicaid fraud, Medicare fraud, home health care fraud, daycare fraud, medical transportation fraud, hospice fraud. But we're supposed to believe there's absolutely zero election fraud. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Leanne brings up how Californian illegals have driver's licenses and that they use that as an ID to vote. Yeah, a lot of those, I guess, say non-citizen or not eligible for voting, but you're not even allowed to ask for proof of citizenship because if they see something that bans them, then they could get in trouble. So they cannot look at it. So they can't be held accountable. So they can cheat as much as possible. It's insane. It's insane. We know it's insane. Change it. Change it today. Change it yesterday. If they're giving out driver's license to people in, pick your fraud state, Michigan, Minnesota. Go down the list. Homeland Security announces under President Trump for the 14th month in a row, 0 illegal aliens have been released into the United States. Round of applause. Colin Rugg reports that a New York school district
that feel personal and consistent over time.
I guess I can't play the ads now, right? Thank you, Rocky. New York school district to become one of the first in the United States to introduce a humanoid robot in the classroom. Sally will have a Western New York accent and teach 11th and 12th grade students at Salamanca High School. Sally costs less than the average teacher's salary in New York with a price tag of $57,000. Robot has brown hair, can move its arms and legs, but will not be able to walk around the classroom. Students will be able to log in so the humanoid can recognize students and their previous interactions. Humanoid will be helping teach coding, robotics, and AI classes. The school district promises that robots will never replace human teachers. Sally is made by Real Botics, also produces companion robots. Oh, companion robots. Bangable bots? Banger bots? Great. Then you're going to have a situation where one of the banger bots is having an illicit relationship with a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, right? Brian, is that white wine you're indulging in? Every time I look in the mirror. It actually has a bit of the cloudy consistency of a Belgian pale ale. It's a little more yellowy. But yeah, at a distance, it does look white winey, you know? Nope, it is a carbonated water beverage from a company that does not sponsor me. I've told you their name before. I love them. They're called Spindrift. They're really good. It's a grapefruit one. I already had some coffee this morning with Mr. Bean, and I was done with coffee, so I had to switch. Okay, so robots headed to your classrooms. Dine and Dash in Orlando. This bold family rolls into the diner, orders a massive spread, racks up $300 on the check. They ate like champs, then dipped out in groups, leaving one woman at the table pretending she was going to pay. She waited till the coast was clear, and she bounced too, straight to the waiting getaway car. Orlando, beware who's sitting at the next table. Restaurants are getting hit hard with these scams. That sucks, man. Place called At the Diner. If you recognize these people, email them. info@at the diner. Come on, find these guys and make them pay this bill. Make them pay double. That sucks for the restaurant. For the server, server owes $300. They're going to take taxes out of those sales regardless, which has always been stupid. They take a minimum amount out of your sales. That server went in debt to you guys who wasted their time and didn't get tipped on it. No, I'm not talking to you, the regulars here at the Moon Saloon, at the New American Media Bar. I'm talking to these bums over here. Yeah, Dine and Dash. Dine and Dash. Ugh. Internet, do your thing. Wall Street Ape says that this UPS worker says the company is offering buyouts to workers. Official reason is to pay them to quit so they can reduce their workforce. That's not what's happening. They're just rehiring people at lower positions at lower wages. Senior drivers make $120 to $160, including benefits and overtime. But if you fire them and rehire new workers, the new workers only make $50 to $80 in the first 2 years. Yeah, don't forget, UPS did a big thing on this about, oh, we're raising our payment. Oh, we're going to pay everybody so much. And they made such a big deal virtue signaling about how great a forward-thinking company they are. And you've heard nothing you've heard so much about what they've been up to. Wasn't it a UPS plane that exploded in Louisville last year? And it's a lot about cutting back on stuff because you can't afford to do what they were virtue signaling they were doing. Oh, and it felt good for a couple of soundbite cycles, maybe for a quarterly profit statement. But now if this is what's happening and it's like your reward for being good at your job is being kicked out, fired, like this is not good.
Average cost for one of these drivers.
Anyway, all eyes on UPS. This story's okay. So the instant these handcuffs are removed, threats and violence begin. Then it's the second part I really want to see here.
Don't move that hand. Move his hand.
Don't bring your ass back.
Taser.
Don't bring your ass back. You don't go. Oh!
Taser report.
And she's down.
Why y'all doing it like
Don't move. Do not move.
Now, you're kind of missing out on some of this. Yeah, you're being let out of this. Why are you? Number one, spinning around and smacking and hitting the cop. Like, that's a really terrible idea. It seems like maybe those cuffs should have stayed on. That is a bad idea.
Don't bring your ass back.
Taser.
Don't bang your ass or something. And taser's out.
Bring your ass back. You don't go. Oh!
Taser report.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh!
Taser report.
I think she hits her head on the car.
Oh!
Taser report.
Okay, so she's getting tased now. I don't know. It's kind of a whatever, right?
Why y'all doing it like this? Why y'all doing it like this?
Don't move. Do not move.
Then she starts screaming because look at this smoke.
Get up.
Shocked with so much electricity that her phone exploded.
Stop.
Was all of this avoidable by not spinning and smacking and hitting the cop and saying something, I'm gonna get your ass, or how did that go again? I think this is all preventable. How does a cell phone explode in a fire?
Don't move that hand. Move his hand.
Don't bring your ass back.
Taser.
Don't bring your ass back. You don't go. Oh!
Taser report.
It feels like something out of a cartoon, that whole little sequence there.
You don't go. Oh!
Taser report.
Oh, Jesus. And then smacks her head. I don't like seeing people get hurt. I mean, this was stupid.
Taser.
Don't bring your ass back. You don't go. Oh!
Taser report.
Okay, I gotta ask, is this woman okay? Because this is, I don't feel bad laughing at this, but I feel like I should feel bad. Taser strikes near her pocket, causing the phone to overheat rapidly, catch fire, and produce thick smoke as she lies on the pavement. Northport, Florida. Florida woman. She's wearing a Fire the Cannon shirt. '23 incident. Sudden impact resistance met with force and the rare side effect of electronic devices being damaged by conducted energy weapons. If I could clip that, I'm checking to see if she was okay health-wise. Yeah, she was okay health-wise overall. Is she burnt? Is her stomach okay? Away from the phone. Okay. So I'm allowed to think this is as funny as it is. Oh, Jesus. Thump.
Don't bring your ass back.
Taser.
Don't bring your ass back. Here go, go. Oh!
Taser reporting.
Okay. I would be tempted to clip that and play that often if I was shocked by something. Oh, Jesus. But I haven't seen many instances of cell phones exploding before, and that's the part that I found most interesting about this. Moving on. Spain wins the World. Oh, geez, I don't even know if I can show you this. Spain wins the World Cup, and President Trump gives it to him. And he's hanging out with him, and he's still there, and he wants to be part of the photo op. Cuba's power is ideological, subversive, and parasitic. This is a State Department report. Yeah, Cuba is next on the menu, it seems. Instead of giving a trophy. Matthias says, whoever made this video, delete it immediately from the internet, or you will be reported to the EU. Mark Hemingway said, just spent some time in Europe, and there is an air conditioning problem there that's real. But what really gets me is that there's no moving air anywhere. You don't see indoor fans either. An older German lady explained to me she thought fans, which are now very efficient, were wasteful too. But watch this. President Trump to the winner.
Farhan, great game. This AC unit is for you.
Gracias, Mr. President. It's so cool.
Best ACs, better than metals. Enjoy the cool.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
You're welcome. Let's hear it for the team.
Gracias a todos.
Come on. I love AI. I love AI. Everybody, make sure you're following. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching on a device that lets you tap the hearts or the confetti or the hundreds, just do a bunch of tippy taps. I know some of your phones will let you do that. And share the show with a friend. When the taser's deployed, says Ortho, there's hundreds of micro tags deployed as well that identify the taser deployed. AI is so fun.
Farhan, great game. This AC unit is for you.
Oh, that's good. Richard Gere says Trump uses the same words Hitler did, calls them vermin. They're not vermin. They're human beings. I met them. He's never met a refugee or a migrant. These are human beings like us who are usually running from a fire of one kind or another. Oh, good grief. Doug Powers goes, has this asshole ever met with the families of people murdered by the left's precious illegals? No. AOC is trying to run for president. She's trying out a new accent in Detroit. Rich Lowry says she's so bad when she goes into this faux preacher mode.
And we need a firewall against an administration that is hell-bent on tearing down in 4 years what it took this country 250 years to build. And
oh boy. Lord help us if she's the Democrat nominee. Piers Morgan talking about how ridiculous it is what's happening in England. 7 different presidents in 10 different years.
Well, he's not. He's a self-acclaimed socialist. He's proud of it. He's, as you say, the 7th prime minister my country's had in 10 years. And I would say to Fox viewers, just imagine if you'd had 7 different presidents in 10 years, how absurd that would feel. We've had 5 in 4 years. There is a cat at number 10 Downing Street, the home of the British Prime Minister, called Larry the cat. He was adopted in David Cameron's tenure in 2011. That cat has outsurvived 7 different prime ministers. It is a complete joke.
Wow.
Do you think the cat's involved at all?
Yes, is Larry the assassin? You know what? To be honest, it kind of sums up how farcical this has become. Well, he's not. He's
Larry the cat. I wonder if he spent $780 at the vet today. Whew. Trash Panda says, Richard, are these gerbils yours? Yeah, that is a classic story there. Leanne's getting Tallarico ads. I think that's pretty great. We'll gladly take Tallarico ad money, take from the pockets of a loser and into the hands of patriots. Just let the ad play, and it's like a penny in the wishing well for us. Or better yet, watch on 2 devices. One you let the ads play, and one you keep watching. You click skip. All right, check this out. FDA says Taylor Farms cyclospora finding. You heard about that? Like we figured out the farm that's making everybody sick. No, we didn't. Federal regulators reversed an earlier finding involving Taylor Farms lettuce, saying lab experiments experts determined the reported cyclospora result was inaccurate. The parasite outbreak has sickened thousands and hospitalized about 100 across several states. Taylor Farms is not the reason, but their company's pretty much been destroyed by this now, huh? Follow the money. Hey, si, senor. Kenneth wants to AOC her in a teddy. Now, Kenneth. Hey, here's another good one from Jonathan Carl. Jonathan Carl had a couple of good ones recently. What's going on with him? Why is he getting so based? Talking with Bill Maher about the 28 election. This is as good a clip as you're going to find.
You told J.D. Vance you're open, your vote is up for grabs.
Yes, my vote is in play because it can't be Trump running. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know that the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they say things like, you know, takeover of key industries, government. That's communism. You know, there is a definition.
By the way, Trump's doing that too.
Of course. Yes.
And to a degree that we haven't seen any other president, Democrat or Republican, do.
That's crazy too.
He's got a piece of intel, and
right?
He's got a piece of the AI companies.
He treats everything like it's a real estate deal, or I don't know, he's an agent or something. And he always wants 10 or 15%.
So you want to see?
It's actually not a bad idea. Why shouldn't the U.S. government? Why are we spending money we don't have that's making the money we have worthless? Of course we should be in on this stuff instead of in on the graft, where 10% gets funneled. Everybody that touches on the scheme, on the graft, on the theft, the NGO gets their 10%, and then the nonprofit gets their 10%, and then the Democrats get their 10%, the legacy media gets their 10%, the teachers union gets their 10%. There's nothing at the end. You ever see that? I don't know, maybe it's Little Rascals or any cartoon. There's a fire, and so they go to the swimming pool and they get a bucket. Then they pour the stuff in the bucket, and every time they pour it, they splash some out. And by the time they get to the end, there's nothing in the bucket. Why shouldn't the U.S. get 10% of something if it's successful and they're working together on the project instead of us having to pay for everything always? Bill Maher has the same hair as my late granny. I was just looking at his hair going, would you look at that? Yeah, that is. Yep. That's a classic haircut for granny age. I think that's going to be a good spot to put a thumbtack in today's show. There's a lot more going on. We'll discuss it. God, I really do have a few more stories. Here, we'll do lightning round. Focus. Yeah, the fact that you can own land, build a house, pay off your loan, but lose it all, property taxes, should be illegal. Agree. My property taxes went up $150 a month. After they went up, not thrilled about wasting hundreds of dollars a month. Really dislike it. Mom Donnie struggles to define who the working class is in a word salad interview. Buck Sexton says he doesn't know and he doesn't care. His whole shtick is smiling, communist agitation. He traffics in resentment and envy dressed up as fairness and concern. Hassan Piker says Mao Zedong is one of the greatest leaders of this world. AG says Mao was responsible for 40 to 60 million deaths. This was the main speaker for the College Democrats conference, by the way, Hassan Piker. So you're going to keep hearing this guy's name. He's got a bunch of clout for some reason, but he's, it's almost better that he's forefront of this because they can't hide behind him not being there. Every day you learn more about this guy, the less you're going to like him and the fewer people are going to fewer people are going to vote for him. John Lott put this Hawley clip together about the criminals that Biden granted clemency to. It's 3 minutes. I'm not going to play it. Check it out, though. Communism isn't good in theory. It's a death cult, says Marco Rubio. 3-minute clip from Secretary of State. Al Jazeera English says NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says that Trump's war on Iran were important. It was important because Tehran had been close to acquiring nuclear capabilities. And Larry Elder says, here's a silly question. What would happen to the price of oil if Iran had a nuclear weapon and used it? Andy Burnham, officially Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. David Icke says, an unelected man is confirmed UK Prime Minister by a bloke who is head of a state because of who had sex with who in what order. The world is insane. And democracy is calculated illusion to make you think that fake democracy equates with freedom when it's all a stitch-up. Argentina and Spain in the World Cup final. They're just playing keep away 0-0. The biggest action is that the center holds it from The Simpsons. Breaking 911 shows a half-mile stretch of Washington Heights. Open-air illegal drug market with vendors selling painkillers, erectile dysfunction pills, and other prescription medications. Pat Gray says New York City is rapidly transforming into a third world city. All you got to do is care. Go clean it up. Take all that stuff, issue them a citation. But they're not doing it. Vice President J.D. Vance and the Second Lady Usha Vance on Sunday announced the birth of their fourth child, Alec Neal. His birth marks the first time in more than 150 years that a sitting vice president has had a baby while in office. Congrats. Rich Lowry says, I know countless millions of people love soccer, and it can be a thrilling game as we witnessed repeatedly during the World Cup, but it suffers from a fundamental structural flaw. Because offense is in such short supply at this level, scoring is highly dependent on penalties. This means that scoring often comes outside the normal flow of play and incentivizes flopping and pretend injuries that are unworthy of grown men. You think someone rolling around on the turf in agonizing pain is going to have to be transported immediately to the hospital, and then you look up and he's played another 45 minutes, no problem. Then there's the courting of artificial penalties. A player steps in front of another, gets bumped, and proceeds to pretend he got shot. Whatever the other merits of soccer, this stuff is a blight on the game and brings an element of low comedy to even the highest stakes competition. Careful what you cancel. Careful what you cancel, says Ricky Ratliff. Comedian Shane Gillis fired from Saturday Night Live for making allegedly racist remarks 7 years ago. Cut to today. Guinness World Record for most tickets sold for a solo comedy show. Shane Gillis, Philadelphia, brought out Dave Chappelle. Careful what you cancel. And in a lot of cases, you're going to find that talent will trump censorship. And once again, that's why I don't try to get too hung up on the ways that TNAM has been, targeted. I just want to succeed despite all that stuff. But in all honest forms of communication, let me just be as blunt as possible. It's been quite a go. We've had quite a go trying to figure this stuff out. But congratulations to Shane. Steve Ferguson points out that mortgages that Haitians are. I'm reading some of these and they're really poorly written, so I'm having to translate them in real time. Temporary protected status Haitians have qualified for mortgages with no American credit. There are mortgages that H-1B visa holders can qualify for with no American credit. Meanwhile, Americans get a credit colonoscopy. Yeah, it's insane. So the Trump admin files first ever petition to a secretive and dormant court created 30 years ago to consider government requests. Man, Newsmax is very anti this. This is a horribly written. Deporting so-called alien terrorists from the United States. Yeah, just go. It's time to go. You snuck in. You're not welcome. You didn't come here the right way. Get out. That's it. Go. Kamala Harris wants to tell you paper ballots are the smartest, safest way to ensure your vote is secure against attacks by foreign actors. Russia can't hack a piece of paper like they can a computer. Oh, you mean China? We introduced the Secure Elections Act to ensure our elections are safeguarded. We must be ready. Adam Carolla points out, well, back then in 2019, she was a young 55-year-old with crazy ideas. Who hasn't changed over the years? Elon Musk says he's the largest individual taxpayer in history. I've paid over $10 billion in tax. You're welcome. I thought the IRS might send me a little trophy or something, but they didn't. Here's a video collage of dirty lying Democrats who claim the 2016 election was stolen. Now they're attacking Trump after he brings the receipts on the stolen 2020 election. On Gateway Pundit, go watch it. AG says it's legitimately shocking there's currently no background checks for congressional staffers, given the type of information they often have access to. Can't imagine any legitimate justification for opposing this measure. There's a new resolution by Representative Kat Kamek, H.R. 500, requiring background checks on congressional staffers. Partially motivated by an upcoming report that a former member of Congress recommended staffers to other members that were also operating as agents of Qatar. This cannot be real life that they're not getting background checks. And how do the Grand Rapids, Michigan Democrats feel about ICE? Here's a guy named Abdul that wants to be in our American Senate talking about immigrations and customs enforcement. What do you say, Abdul? Abdul El Sayed?
ICE has nothing to do with immigration.
Oh, it has nothing to do with immigration. Silly me. Because it's literally the first letter. I is for immigration.
ICE has nothing to do with the southern border.
Really? Because your Democrats opened the southern border and we've stopped that for 16 straight months.
ICE is about normalizing paramilitary force on our streets.
Democrats are about normalizing paramilitary forces, armies of military-aged men on our streets. Illegal aliens. Not invited, not welcome, no criminal background check. No purpose, no hoops to jump through, no qualifications, no timelines to make sure you're on a temporary program and that we're keeping an eye on you. No. Democrats have put paramilitary troops across our country, and we're getting them out.
The idea of immigration against the Constitution. ICE is about weaponizing the idea of immigration against the Constitution itself.
That makes no sense. No, it's not. The founders, the framers who wrote the 14th Amendment were very clear. You have to be a citizen to have a kid that's a citizen. Otherwise, you're not a citizen. And this latest ruling is a travesty.
ICE cannot be reformed.
What are you reforming other than doing more and doing it faster? And stopping the Democrats from encouraging idiots to go out there and try to pick fights with ICE that lead to shootings. None of that needs to happen. We're getting bad people out. Stay out of the way.
ICE cannot be retrained. ICE has to be abolished.
No, we're not surrendering our country. We're not Europe. We're not going to abolish our ICE, and we're not going to be invaded by the people you want to invade. Abdul El Sayed. Look at all these screaming, angry white people behind him. Straight out of Central Casting. Angry white, angry white, angry white, angry white, angry white, angry white, angry white. Bright, bold colors, septum piercings. It's like a Saturday Night Live skit.
You're not getting another dime of our money. Not one more dime.
Our money? Okay. The Tate brothers were arrested in Miami. Going to be following this. Caroline Wren, though, says we sent 15 U.S. Marshals to arrest the Tate brothers on behalf of the UK government. And still not one person responsible for the Russiagate hoax or the stolen election has been arrested. Cool. Bad Hombre says if the Tate brothers were arrested in Florida, the U.S. Marshals should also be breaking down the doors of the Krasenstein twins' Florida homes and seizing all their electronic devices. The Krasensteins openly support and advocate for pedophilia. They ran teen corn websites for years. They ran crypto scams for which they settled with the feds for $500,000. There are credible allegations that Brian Krasenstein got a 16-year-old boy drunk and then molested him in his garage in 2015. These are the accusations from Bad Hombre. I don't know about that, but now the story is on my radar. Pro-America Politics says, I don't listen to the Tate brothers, I don't like the Tate brothers, and I don't care about the Tate brothers. I don't listen to the Jewish lobby. I don't care about the Jewish lobby. I don't care about the Jewish lobby. I don't listen to the Palestinian lobby. I don't like the Palestinian lobby. I don't care about the Palestinian lobby. I don't like, isn't it possible that we're aware of stories that we don't like have to carry a torch and scream one way or the other about? It's just like, anyway, I like that beginning part. Pro-America Politics continues and says, but I do find it hypocritical, extremely hypocritical for UK cops to chase the Tate brothers cross borders for alleged crimes while allowing Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs to assault thousands of British girls with near impunity. It's hundreds of thousands. The police knew, the city councils knew, but the British would rather watch their women and girls be brutalized by Muslim supremacists than risk being called racists. The UK deserves nothing but contempt and shame. There they are, getting arrested. Really weird fancy pants, by the way. Strange purple off. Strange clothing. Thank you. All right. Vigilant Fox RFK reports that RFK Jr. reveals that what HHS found when they went looking for 375,000 migrant kids that died and lost. It's a huge, huge tragedy. One guy pretended to be the parent of 42 children. We have no idea what happened to those kids. We're now finding them. A lot of them went to work at slaughterhouses and picking fruit in the fields. They were slaves. We stopped that. We DNA test to make sure they're related to the kid. Nobody gets a kid unless we know it's a kid's parent or relative. It's a huge, huge tragedy. My agency under Biden was the single biggest child trafficker in the world. Thank you. RFK Jr. went on a podcast with Mike Tyson, explaining the CIA killed his father when he was running for president in 1968. Dr. Charlie Ward says YouTube deleted this entire interview off its platform.
Huh. And he introduced him to my father, and they became best friends. And so Paul was very, very close.
Anyway, that's a 9-minute clip to watch. I don't know, something about this lady basketball player. Democrat socialist events, whiter than a grand opening for a Whole Foods. There's one more story I wanted to get. Sonny Hosting calls Lindsey Graham's sister to finish the term for a couple months a DEI pick. That is rich. Tim Walt's investigation for rampant fraud in Minnesota. 5 Freedom of Informations filed by Jay Sekulow. Josh Hawley blasts the team serving Senator Mitch McConnell for the mystery surrounding the former majority leader's physical condition. He's missing in action while crucial votes are pending. Just resign and appoint somebody already. What are you doing? It's a good idea. Frank Lunt says the Department of Education is rolling out a new accountability test for colleges and universities. The test itself is simple. If an undergrad program's graduates don't earn more than the workers who never went to college, that program could be cut off from federal student loans. Amen. Yeah, no more gender studies, no more basket weaving, just like learn some skills. Erica Kirk influenced Usha to have another kid. She said Erica had said she wished she had more children with Charlie Kirk, and that helped lead their decision to expand their family. Well, 9 months ago, Charlie was killed 8 months ago, so that math doesn't math. Hang on, how many? June, July? Oh, maybe it does. July, August, September. Maybe it was in the immediate aftermath, actually. I'm trying to do the quick math.
Erica Kirk really influenced Usha. She said that Erica said she wished she had had more children with Charlie Kirk, and that helped lead their decision to expand their family and to become a family of 6.
Yeah, she and Erica Kirk are very, very close, and Charlie and Erica always were talking about expanding family. They were pro-family, and I feel like this White House has just championed family values.
It definitely has. And there's leading by example, I think, as the vice president explained back in January when he announced that Usha was expecting. And, I know that that's a lot of the heartbeat of the vice president is policies that are pro-family, that encourage, enhance, and help families. And so this is just part of that picture of just who the Vances really are. Erica Kirk really influenced Usha. She said that Erica said she wished she had had more children with Charlie.
All right. Former U.S. Customs Border Protection Chief Patrol Agent Gregory Bovino says he received persistent death threats for more than a year and a half and blamed left-wing rhetoric for fueling violence against immigration officials on Newsmax. Schwarzenegger's pissed that they never really got the budget problem as governor done because I was surrounded by Democrats that had absolutely no interest in really reducing the spending. That's Democrats for you, he said on Stern. Oh, yeah, this Abdul Sayed refuses to comment on the death of the supreme leader of Iranian terror regime because there are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today. He again refuses comment on the Ayatollah's death. Pathetic and disqualifying, says Stephen Hayes. Okay, Tom Homan shuts down Margaret Brennan as she attacks ICE over recent shootings, defends criminals attempting to run over ICE agents. Tom Homan did good here. Yeah, this clip, Mark Warner, this is such an incredible clip. I might have to play that every day. I was looking for one more story. I thought I shared it on here. I don't think I did. Oh, Ayanna Presley's husband previously spent a decade in federal prison for drug trafficking. Body found at the home owned by the squad rep, Ayanna Presley's husband. Oh, Tulsi Gabbard's brother accused of allegedly trying to lure children at a Hawaii hotel. Oh, that's not good. Oh, yeah, Islamic supremacists merging with commies. Oh, yeah, they're useful idiots. The commies are to them. Neither of those groups are going to play well with each other. They're just enemies of my enemies are my friend at the moment. All right, that's what I had to share with you today. See, look, I found an extra 20 minutes of stuff. Whew, lots in the news. Thank you all for being here. I'm clocking out. I'm going to push forward my tab here for lunch. It shows $0 and free cents, but there's a tip line at the bottom. If you enjoyed your time here while we talked about all the stories in the news, please consider becoming a monthly subscriber on Patreon, YouTube, or Rumble. For as little as $5 a month, you just enter your credit card and it'll bill you on the first of the month. $5 or $10 or $15 or $100 or $1,000 a month. Some of you are made of money. Great way to help the show. Appreciate it. Anyone that wants to drop a singular Rumble rant tip or super chat tip, please consider doing that before we close the doors here and I clock out for the day. We have Venmo and Cash App. You just go to Brian Engelman at BrianEngelman, and you can drop one of those. Thank you to the standalone Venmo tip the other day. Much appreciated. You know who you are. And on PayPal, we are Fuzz Installment. INSTALLMENT, fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com is the email address to send something over that way. Will I be doing a show this evening? I don't know. I do know that I will consider it, and stay tuned. Keep your ears peeled. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep your ears perked. If I do, I do, and if I don't, I don't. But doggone it, it's been fun talking with you today about getting caught up on the news from over the weekend. So, signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you, I love you, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.